Meet Sarah, a young woman who always dreamed of speaking English fluently. She lived in a small town where few people spoke English, but she was determined to learn. Every morning, she would wake up early and practice simple English phrases before starting her day. Sarah began her journey by watching English cartoons with subtitles. She found that children's shows were perfect for beginners because they used simple words and spoke slowly. Sometimes she would pause the video and repeat the words, trying to copy the correct pronunciation. One day, Sarah discovered a helpful mobile app for learning English. The app had fun games and exercises that made learning feel like playing. She would spend 15 minutes every day completing different tasks and earning points, which motivated her to continue learning. Sarah's brother noticed her dedication to learning English and decided to help. He started speaking simple English phrases with her during dinner, like "please pass the salt" and "the food is delicious." These small conversations helped Sarah build confidence in speaking. To improve her reading skills, Sarah started with children's books. She chose stories she already knew in her native language, which made it easier to understand the English version. She would read one page every night before going to bed. Sarah created colorful flashcards with common English words and placed them around her house. She put food-related words in the kitchen, bathroom items in the bathroom, and furniture words in the living room. This helped her remember new vocabulary naturally throughout the day. Music became another wonderful tool for Sarah's learning. She would listen to simple English songs and sing along, even if she didn't understand all the words at first. The catchy tunes helped the words stick in her memory, and she found herself humming English songs while doing housework. In her phone settings, Sarah changed the language to English. At first, it was challenging to navigate, but she quickly learned common words like settings, messages, and camera. This small change created many opportunities to practice English throughout the day. Sarah started keeping a simple diary in English. She wrote basic sentences about her day, like, "Today is sunny," or "I ate breakfast with my family." When she didn't know a word, she would look it up in a dictionary and add it to her flashcard collection. To practice listening, Sarah began watching weather forecasts in English. The presenters used similar phrases each day, and the weather symbols helped her understand what they were saying. Soon she could understand basic weather descriptions without looking at the pictures. Sarah found a free online English learning group that met twice a week. The group was perfect for beginners, and everyone was supportive when someone made mistakes. They played simple word games and had basic conversations about their daily lives. Taking photos became part of Sarah's learning routine. She would take pictures of objects around her town and practice describing them in simple English sentences. "This is a red car," or "the tree is tall," became her way of building vocabulary. Sarah discovered that talking to herself in English while doing chores helped improve her speaking skills. She would describe her actions: "I am washing dishes," or "I am making my bed." This practice helped her think in English instead of translating from her native language. The local library had a small English section where Sarah found simple magazines. She enjoyed looking at the pictures and reading the short captions underneath. The visual context made it easier to understand new words and phrases. Sarah started following English teachers on social media who posted daily learning tips. They shared simple vocabulary words, basic grammar rules, and short pronunciation exercises. She would practice these lessons while waiting for the bus or standing in queues. Sarah's friend introduced her to English language podcasts for beginners. The host spoke slowly and clearly, using basic vocabulary. She would listen while doing household chores, making the most of her time to learn English. To practice numbers and time, Sarah started saying the time in English whenever she looked at her watch. She also counted objects in English and tried to use numbers in simple sentences like, "I have 3 apples," or "It's 4 o'clock." Sarah joined an online forum for English learners where she could ask questions and share her progress. The community was very supportive, and members helped each other with simple grammar questions and vocabulary. She made friends with people from different countries who were also learning English. In her kitchen, Sarah started reading food packages in English. She learned cooking vocabulary and measurements by following simple recipes in English. This practical approach helped her remember new words because she used them in real situations. Every weekend, Sarah would watch a short English video and try to summarize it in simple sentences. She wrote down new words she heard and practiced using them in her own sentences. This helped her build both listening and writing skills. Sarah created a morning routine of saying simple affirmations in English. "I can speak English," and "learning is fun." These positive statements helped boost her confidence and motivation to continue learning. To practice conversation skills, Sarah found a language exchange partner online who was a beginner like her. They would chat for 10 minutes each day, using simple phrases and helping each other learn. It was less scary than talking to a native speaker. Sarah made a habit of labeling items in her workspace with English words. She put sticky notes on her computer, desk, and office supplies. Seeing these words every day helped her remember them without much effort. When shopping, Sarah would make her grocery lists in English. She learned the names of fruits, vegetables, and other common items. She would quietly practice saying these words while walking through the store. Sarah started watching English tutorials about her hobbies. Whether it was cooking, gardening, or crafting, she found that her interest in the topic helped her stay focused and learn new vocabulary naturally. Sarah discovered children's learning websites that taught English through games and stories. She didn't mind that they were made for kids because they helped her learn basic grammar and vocabulary in a fun way. To practice speaking, Sarah would describe her daily routine in English every morning. She used simple present tense to say things like, I wake up at 7 and I eat breakfast at 8. This repetition helped her remember common verbs. Sarah found that drawing pictures and labeling them in English helped her remember new words. She created a small picture dictionary with her own drawings and simple English descriptions. This creative approach made learning more enjoyable. At work, Sarah changed her phone's virtual assistant to English. She would practice giving simple commands like, set an alarm, or, what's the weather? The assistant's clear responses helped her learn proper pronunciation. Sarah started watching English movie trailers. They were short and often used simple, dramatic language. She would watch them several times, first with subtitles in her language, then with English subtitles, and finally without any subtitles. To practice writing, Sarah would describe pictures from magazines in simple English sentences. She started with basic descriptions like, the girl is happy, or the dog is brown, and gradually made them more complex. Sarah learned to set small, achievable goals for her English study. Each week, she would focus on learning 5 new words and 1 grammar rule. This approach helped her avoid feeling overwhelmed and track her progress. Reading English signs and advertisements became a daily habit for Sarah. She would look for English text in her environment and try to understand it. This real-world practice helped her connect language learning to everyday life. Sarah found that listening to English while exercising helped her learn. She created a playlist of simple English songs and podcasts for her daily walks. The combination of physical activity and language learning made both more enjoyable. To improve her spelling, Sarah played word games on her phone. She started with simple games that matched pictures to words, then moved on to basic crossword puzzles. These games made learning feel like entertainment. Sarah practiced ordering food in English by role-playing restaurant scenes at home. She would pretend to be both the customer and the server, using common phrases like, I would like, and how much is it? This preparation helped her feel more confident in real situations. Sarah learned to celebrate her progress, no matter how small. When she understood a new word or correctly used a grammar rule, she would write it down in her success journal. This positive reinforcement kept her motivated. To improve her listening skills, Sarah started with simple English nursery rhymes. The repetitive nature and simple vocabulary of these songs made them perfect for beginners. She would sing them while doing housework or walking to the bus stop. Sarah created a study corner in her home with English learning materials. She decorated it with motivational quotes in English and kept her flashcards, books, and notebook there. Having a dedicated space for learning helped her stay focused. Using her phone's camera, Sarah would take pictures of things she didn't know the English words for. Later, she would look up these words and practice using them in simple sentences. This helped her build vocabulary related to her daily life. Sarah started following English learning channels on social media. She would spend 5 minutes each morning reviewing their simple tips and examples. These brief lessons fitted easily into her daily routine and provided consistent practice. Each evening, Sarah would review what she had learned that day. She would write down 3 new words or phrases she wanted to remember and practice using them in different sentences. This review helped reinforce her learning. When feeling discouraged, Sarah reminded herself that every expert was once a beginner. She learned to view mistakes as opportunities to improve rather than failures. This mindset helped her stay positive and keep practicing. Sarah discovered that teaching basic English words to her younger cousin helped reinforce her own learning. Explaining simple concepts to someone else made her understand them better. It also boosted her confidence in speaking English. To practice reading aloud, Sarah would record herself reading simple stories and listen to the recordings while doing chores. This helped her identify areas where she needed to improve her pronunciation and speaking speed. Sarah made it a habit to think in English for 5 minutes each day. She would mentally describe what she saw around her using simple sentences. This practice helped her build fluency and reduce the need to translate from her native language. Now, after 6 months of consistent practice, Sarah can understand simple English conversations and express basic ideas. She continues to learn and improve every day. Proud of how far she has come from her first English lesson. Thank you for watching our story about Sarah's English learning journey. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with your friends who are also learning English. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your own English learning experience. Together, we can inspire and support each other on this exciting language learning adventure.